Frontside Shove It. Frontside Shove It's are a relatively easy trick. They're considered one of the basics because there's really not too much that goes into learning them. You're basically just popping the board, letting it rotate frontside underneath you, and landing back on it. The only tricks I'd recommend you learn before a frontside shove it are ollies and frontside 180s. And even these aren't necessarily a requirement, but they'll definitely help you out. So the only main parts to this trick are learning the pop and scoop from the back foot, and then just jumping to stay with your board and landing back on it. Foot positioning for this trick can vary a lot. I know some people put their feet almost exactly like an ollie, and others set it up a little different. I'm just going to show you how I do mine. I like to put my front foot just a couple inches below the front bolts, with my front toes hanging off just a bit. And for me, I need to have my back foot in that pocket or I just can't get the rotation right. This trick is basically using like 95% of your back foot in order to pop and scoop the board, and the rest is just landing. So we're going to be focusing a lot on that scoop with the back foot. So if your goal is to get something that looks like this, how do you do it? Well, it looks pretty easy, and that's because it is pretty easy. The first step would be to get your feet in that position I said and make sure your back foot is in the pocket. The way you're going to get the board to rotate is by using your toes to push down and forward at the same time. The motion looks something like this, except you're actually popping and jumping off your back foot too. Now with this motion, you're going to want to add the pop, which you should already know how to do if you can do ollies and 180s. Just snap the tail on the ground like you're doing a regular trick, except incorporate that foot movement where you're pushing your toes forward to make the board rotate. At first you can start with keeping your front foot on the ground and just practicing the snap with your back foot. It should look something like this. And if you're doing it correctly, you should notice that the board is actually pretty easy to rotate. So yeah, practice this a few times until you feel comfortable flipping the board around. Notice how my back foot isn't just popping directly down, it's going down and forward. And that's how you get the front side rotation. So as you've seen, sometimes when I'm pushing the board, it's ending up doing 360s or doing weird stuff. So the next step would be to learn how to stop that with one foot or the other. You can practice while you're still standing still and just put your foot back down in order to stop the rotation. So if you've gotten to this point and you're comfortable putting your foot in that little pocket, scooping the board in order to get the front side rotation, and putting your foot back down in order to stop the rotation, I'd say it's probably time to start trying this while moving. Just like before, you can try it with just landing with one foot. This will help you get the feel of how to pop it while you're moving, because it does kind of change a little bit when you have momentum. Another little note, when you do start trying this while moving, even if you are just landing with one foot, I would suggest that the foot you practice landing with would be your front foot. Mainly because when you finally go to do this with 2 feet and land, you're going to be mostly catching it with your front foot. And it'll just kind of speed up the process of getting that feeling. Okay, so if you can pop the board, scoop it with your back foot, and land with your front foot, our last step is just to get your back foot on there. So I mentioned it earlier, and I know that a lot of people, they can do this trick while keeping the board directly underneath them, but I personally, and I know a lot of beginners, they have to jump backwards with the board in order to stay over it. So I'm going to talk about that a little bit. Getting your back foot back onto the board isn't necessarily a hard thing to do. You naturally will jump off your back foot and want to land back on the board, but yes, you will have to jump backwards as the board rotates. Luckily, this isn't too hard because it's as easy as it sounds. You just jump off of your foot once you've popped the board and go behind you however far you need to. If you're trying this trick and the board is going really far behind you, it's probably because you're not popping down enough. You may just be giving it too much of a shove and not enough of a pop and a shove. So now you can go through all of the steps, put your feet in the right foot positioning with your back foot in that pocket. Give the tail a pop and a little shove out in front of you. And as you're jumping off your back foot, make sure you jump backwards just a little bit in order to stay over your board. And then find the board again with your feet and put them back down. And you may have noticed that your front foot doesn't do much in the way of scooping or flipping or doing anything. All it pretty much does is try and keep it above the board in order to help guide your body and other foot where to land. So here are a couple frontside pop shove it's. Mainly focus on my back foot because that's where all the work is going on. Notice the way my back foot sort of pivots but also pushes out in front of me in order to get the board to rotate. And also do look at my front foot and see how it tries to stay over the board in order to keep my body guided. So hopefully this helped you if you were having trouble with this trick or just trying to learn it for the first time. Practice makes perfect, so just keep on trying. If you need any specific help, feel free to leave a comment. And besides that, you can like and subscribe if you want.